in Philippians 2:4, look not to your own interest, but each of you to the interest of the others. And that's how a team is really supposed to work, and that's how we should be working as a team when we're there. To give you some ideas, I'm going to have some slides afterwards, and there's some other information I'm going to want from you. But just to give you an idea how things are going to work, we're going to fly from Detroit to Guatemala. We'll probably be making a stop either in Miami or Chicago, depending on which airline we wind up flying with. We'll be leaving early in the morning on the Saturday the 7th. Plane will probably be leaving at 6 a.m., which means we have to be at the airport like at 4 a.m. The return trip's not quite so bad. We don't have to be at the airport till around 10 o'clock, leave at 12:30, and arrive in Detroit again about 11 o'clock at night. Once we fly in on Saturday, we'll be settling in at the hotel, going out for a meal as a team. We will probably be not taking many meals as a team because when you have 20 people walk into a restaurant, it can freak people out. There are some nice restaurants that can handle a big crowd, but they tend to be more expensive, and we're on a budget. So we'll have a couple team meals. There'll be kind of events at the beginning and the end of the trip. On Sunday, we'll be attending the church. We'll be attending church at the church that we're going to be working with, and just relaxing and getting to know a little bit of Antigua, where we'll be staying. We'll actually be staying in Antigua, and the church we're working with is in Guatemala City. On Monday morning, we'll be at the church getting ready for VBS, and Monday afternoon, we'll do the first VBS. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we'll be doing VBS in the morning and the afternoon, a couple hours each. Their schools are split half days, so we want to get as many of the kids as we can, so a half day is where we'll be working there. On Friday, we'll just have the AM VBS, and then we'll go back to Antigua, have our last team meal, be able to relax, do some shopping, whatever you want, and then Saturday morning leaving to go to the airport. In terms of some practical details, you might be thinking because you're going far south, it's going to be really warm. It's not, because we're going to be at an elevation of about a mile high. So we're looking at highs in the upper 70s, lows in the 60s. So, you need to be prepared for some cool weather. It's not going to be all warm. Pardon? Hold it down. Oh, at night? 60s. 60s at night. It'll be the low 60s at night. I'll answer all kind of questions at the end if you don't mind. I have a packing list that I'm suggesting. One of the things that we're going to try to do again in trying to keep costs down is that we're allowing everybody to take a carry-on and a personal item. No big suitcases. We'll probably take one big suitcase for the team with the stuff we need for VBS and anything that you need that you can't put in a carry-on bag. You will not need cash unless you have extras you want to buy. If you want to get souvenirs towards the end of the trip, then you'd need cash. We can exchange cash at any of the banks in Antigua. You just need your passport with you. I encourage you, if possible, to use credit cards as much as possible. You get much better rate of exchange at the bank or with your credit card than you do with a debit card or on the street or at one of the shops. A lot of shops will take American money, but they won't give you a good rate of exchange. Neither do the banks here if you're exchanging money ahead. In terms of the currency, their currency is called the quetzal, or the Q. I got some I'll show you. One Q is worth about 13 cents. To make it a little easier, $10 is worth about 75 Q. $20 is 150 Q. As when you're shopping or something, to just give you an idea. One of the crazy things you run into, number one, if you do take a credit card, check with your bank before you go. Otherwise, they see a charge in Guatemala and they're going to put a fraud alert on your phone, on your card, and you won't hear it, and you'll lose your card. The other thing is, if you take money to exchange, and this is a crazy one, Sam can testify to, your money has to be flat and nice and crisp. They like new bills. If you have money that's folded and creased, they might not take it. American dollars. I tried to pay somebody on a hotel bill with two $50 bills that I have in my wallet. I keep there as a backup money. They wouldn't take them, even though they've only been folded and put in my wallet since I got them out of the machine. So that's one of the crazy things you run into. In terms of medical stuff, there's nothing required. I suggest you have a current tetanus shot because we will be working with stoves and you might get caught. But other than that, there's not going to be in a malaria area or anything like that. No other special medications needed. The reason we're doing this is because my favorite verse is Galatians 6:10. Therefore, as we have opportunity, let us do good to all people, especially those who belong to the family of believers. And that's kind of why we're doing it. We need to support the whole body of Christ. And it sends a really good message to them when they see that they're not alone. There's people willing to come from far away who want to support them and help them. One of the things you need to do is have some people here supporting you too, whether that's financially, which is nice, or with prayer, which is really good. You need both. You need prayer support. There's going to be times you're going to be stretched. You're going to be in uncomfortable situations. Don't worry about it. God's with us. God's sending you on this trip. He's going to make sure you get through it, and you get through it fine. You do what the leaders say, and you're not going to have any trouble. But the enemy doesn't want us to succeed. He doesn't want us, there's strongholds that he might be trying to break through that he doesn't want us to break through. So it's important that we be prepared mentally for the trip as well. You should be prepared to share your testimony. One of the other things that I do is that when we take a trip, we never pick our seats on the airplane. We say, spread us out however you want. It gives us an opportunity to testify. The interesting thing is the last time I took 6 people on a trip, they lined us, 1 row was all us. Didn't get to talk to anybody other than ourselves. But be prepared, both now and during the trip, sharing with people what you're doing and why. You need to expect the unexpected. Things are not going to go every way as planned. There's always little bumps. This last trip, I had a big bump. I wound up being stuck overnight in the airport through my own foolishness. But we're not home anymore, and things are going to be different. We are the ambassadors of Christ, as it says in Corinthians. We are therefore Christ's ambassadors, as though God were making an appeal through us. We implore you on Christ's behalf, be reconciled to God. This is, a lot of things this is our being an ambassadors and speaking to people. You're no longer on a U.S. schedule. Things are not, you think that we're bad sometimes. It gets really strange time-wise there. You're going to be slowed down. Things aren't going to go every time exactly as you expected. One of the things that I feel is that complaining is questioning what God led you to do. So complaining has no place on a mission trip. God took you there. He's got something for you to do. And maybe your bed isn't as comfortable as the one at home. Maybe that's what he wanted you to experience. It's not a romantic getaway. You're going to see a different culture. There's going to be things that are different. Sometimes it might be a little uncomfortable. I've been in places where, because of their culture, they feel nothing funny about serving you soup when it's 100 degrees outside, which I would think is crazy. I'm not going to drink something hot when it's that hot already. But that's what they served me, and that's what I ate. And whatever they put before you, accept it graciously from God and enjoy it. When we're ministering in the church, no shorts, no tight clothes, no yoga pants, stuff like that. We got to be modest. If you're taking pictures, and the kids especially love to have pictures taken, but don't be the ugliest tourist that's always shoving a camera in somebody's face. You know, be sensitive about that. And the same thing when it comes to questioning things. You could run into a situation where you might say to somebody, because we're going to be going out to the villages, not just doing the VBS. One of the other things we're going to be doing is installing stoves, and I'll explain that a little bit. A lot of people in rural areas cook on a fire on the floor, or if they're lucky, on a drum or something that gets it up off the floor. We're going to be putting in some nice wood-burning stoves that they can cook with, and I'll show you pictures of those. But they're much, much nicer than what the people are used to. And it's going to be funny, because when you're in Guatemala City, it's going to look like 10 times, no, I was going to say 10 times the size of Toledo. It's probably 10 times the size of Detroit. There's going to be high-rise buildings. There's malls and everything else. There's indoor malls. They're huge. But when we go an hour outside of there, there's people living in buildings with corrugated roofs and wooden walls, and I've seen even bamboo walls for their kitchen. And we're going to be in some of those areas too. If you say something to if you see something that you're not sure about, talk to one of us. Don't necessarily say something to one of the natives who might be there. You might say, you know, wow, why are they living like that? And it turns out that's that guy's cousin, you know. So be sensitive to that. If you have questions, talk to one of us. One of the other things, we're going to be shopping in the market. Don't pay full price. If they say something's 100 Q, offer them 50 Q. You'll probably settle on 75, and that'll probably be reasonable. You don't want to be so stingy that you're kind of take every penny you can from them, but also don't pay full price. One of the other things I do routinely is I keep a journal. I'm very bad about journaling otherwise, but I'm good about journaling when I'm on a trip. And I can look back and I can remember, oh yeah, I remember this and this, and I have a whole notebook full of little reminders, you know, even if 10 or 15 lines at the end of the day. It's just a good thing to do. I have a list here, a suggested list of what to pack. One of the things that we're going to be doing is, in Antigua, there are a lot of little laundromats, and it's a totally different city than anything you're used to. So it's just, you go down a street, and there's a wall, just a solid wall. And then there's a doorway, and it says, the little line says that it's a laundromat. And we'll drop off clothes. They charge by the pound, and they will clean them and dry them and fold them really neat and tidy and put them in a bag for you. So you're going to want to bring a few bags, because I'm encouraging you, because you're taking so few items, you're going to want to do laundry during the week. If you have 4 days worth of clothes and we're there for 7 days, you're going to do some laundry during the week. And that's not a problem there. And we'll handle that through the ministry. But you need to have, you know, put all your stuff in a bag. I'm encouraging you to bring a couple extra grocery bags, just, you know, a Kroger bag. And when you turn it in, then they'll bring it back. It'll come back in a nice, neat bag too. That's pretty much what I have. So questions? If we're not going to ask questions, can you start the first slide? Yeah, go ahead.
Passports. If I have not gotten a picture of your passport, we need a picture because we can't secure it or book it.
We are going to be getting insurance through ATM to cover any unusual expenses. For that, I need a photograph of your page, your picture page on your passport. I also need to know, thank you for reminding me, I also need to know, for the sake of, my good friend Juan is figuring out where we're going to stay, and he's trying to track down. In Antigua, there are a lot of houses that have been converted to small hotels that can handle like 10, 12 people. We're bringing 20 people. We've got to find a hotel that'll handle that number of people. And we might be 2 or 3 people in a room, might be 4 people in one room. But I need to know how many men and women are going so that I get that straight. I'm going to have shirts for everybody. The first day when we take off, we're going and coming, we're going to wear shirts alike so that we can keep track of each other. So I'll need shirt sizes. I have nice T-shirts that were generously made for me, and I'll need those as well. So sizes for shirts. This is Juan and Betty. You should put this up on the video for the people other places. So this is Juan and Betty Guerra. They'll be our hosts there in Guatemala. Next one. This is, there's a nice little park. They call it the Cross. It overlooks the city of Antigua. And as you see, there's a volcano on the other side. Antigua sits down in the valley. Next. Like I was saying, in Antigua, it's the old city. There's cobblestone streets, narrow sidewalks, and solid walls with then doorways into them. Next. This is an example. This is McDonald's in Antigua. Nice solid wall, big nice doorway. You go inside. The other picture with the fountain is inside the building. That's the way a lot of places are. Outside, it's just walls and street. Inside, there's gardens, there's openings to the sky, there's fountains, there's plants. That's not unusual. Next. This is another, now this looks like a nice, fairly nice restaurant. This is Taco Bell in Antigua. Next. This is the market. One of the places that you can go for souvenirs. A lot of good things is the marketplace. That's where I got this notebook. You know, it's got a nice little notebook, holds a pen, got your paper in there, different stuff. Purses, shirts, clothes, all kinds of stuff, and most of it fairly reasonable. I think that's the last slide, is it? Oh yeah, that's right, the stoves. I mentioned the stoves. This is what, on the one side you can see how they were cooking before, just open flames. One of the issues is that quite often they do not have chimneys or any way for the smoke to get out, so they breathe a lot of smoke. There's a lot of respiratory issues throughout the country. It's one of the leading causes of death is respiratory problems, mainly from people breathing in smoke. On the other side, you see the stoves that we're going to be putting in. We'll be installing 8 stoves. The way we're going to break it down is everybody will get a chance to go out and work on a stove installation. Probably not Sam, because he's done too many already. No, we'll break it up. Everybody will get a chance. So that's everything. Questions? Yes?
There's a question online. If people are writing checks to support the trip, who should they make those out to?
They can make the checks out to either Foundation Stone or the Lord's Hands and Feet.
Are there any specific indicators of like how to get tax write-offs? Like, is there specific instructions on how to give a donation in order to receive a tax?
Okay, I'm not hearing you completely.
Are these tax deductible, like tax write-off able?
Yes, yes. Any donations would be tax deductible donations, either through the Lord's Hands and Feet or through Foundation Stone, either one. Yes, John.
What's the full price again?
The what? The full price? The last I looked at tickets are running up and down a little bit. I've seen them as low as $680 and as high as $750. So between $680 and $750 somewhere is going to be the flight. In country is $750. So we're looking at $1,400 right in there per person.
Is there, like, what is the absolute deadline for passports?
Absolute deadline? I'm actually hoping to be buying tickets the 1st of April. And if you have, I would know at that time what the flights are going to be, and it would be good if you could have at least most of that in. We have some leeway. Most of the 750, whatever the flight is, that's 700 or 750 somewhere in there, that you'd have that in by April. We've got some cushion with the rest of it. One can tie down the hotel and that sort of thing with money that our ministry has. So the other 750, the in-country, that I just need like 3 weeks before we leave. So that's not due until mid-May. So April 1st, the flight expense, and mid-May, the in-country expense. Yeah. We need the passport pictures at the same time that I'm buying the tickets. So that's also April 1st.
And I have 7 out of 19. And you can also expedite your passport.
Yeah. Yeah. But you gotta have a passport. You can't go. Renewing online is much quicker if your passport's coming due. Sam, anything you could add?
Just be praying about it a lot. God's definitely going to stretch you.
One of the really good things, and one of the things that Sam enjoyed, and I hope you ladies can enjoy, we're going to make you work on the stoves too, but it's even nicer getting to pray with the people in the house, because you're going to be meeting the family, and you'll be in their home. Their home's nothing like your home, but you're going to see their home, and you're going to be have a chance to bless them. Yes, Jen. Describe what?
Okay. Describe VBS. He said, yeah, you.
Yeah.
So we'll be doing VBS, like morning, afternoon, and then stoves in the evening, or?
Yeah, the plan is that we would get up in the morning, have breakfast, drive into Guatemala City, set things up, do a VBS for the kids that have afternoon school. Then we have lunch at the church. In the afternoon, we do the afternoon kids, and then we head back to Antigua for the evening. Some of us then go out to Santa Maria de Jesus, a village about half hour, 45 minutes outside of Antigua, to do some stoves. We've done stoves there in the past. So we'll be going there. It's one of the closer towns where we know there's a lot of people in need. We worked with a church there in the past. So we'll be going there, and then we'll be breaking up into smaller groups to go eat so that we're not, inundating someplace. So the team that goes out to install a stove will probably come back then later and they'll eat later. Then we'll all get together in the evening, because one of the other things that is important that we're going to be doing is be talking about what the Lord's showing you and what the Lord's doing with you. One of the things Sam enjoys the most on the trips, right, Sam? One of the really fun things is just getting around in the evening and saying, okay, what did the Lord show you? What did he do for you today? What challenge did you get today? That's one of the really wonderful parts of the trip. Other questions? Yes, sir. Pardon?
Translators?
Juan is a translator. Sam's going to be learning some Spanish to lead some things. One of the things we intend to do with the VBS is giving you a chance to know ahead of time what we're going to be doing, so that you can say, okay, I can learn this little speech that'll help me instruct the kids on what we're doing, and so that you'll be able to speak Spanish too. We will have some translators. Like I say, Juan will be there, and we'll have some other ways that we can make sure that things run, but we don't expect everybody to know, be fluent in Spanish, but try. You know, and I encourage you, if you haven't studied Spanish at all, study some before you go. I learn a little bit more every trip, and I'm old, and if you can learn, you're much younger. We'll be practicing songs in Spanish to lead with the kids. You know, just like we do at VBS here, you learn, you know, songs with good motions to get everybody involved. We'll have a big session where Betty will then have a word for the group based on the theme that we have, and then we'll have activities just like we do VBS here. So, you know, you'll be breaking down and having, you know, treats or games or activities or whatever. Okay? Does that help? Anything else? If nothing else, Sam? Yeah.
Could you get us the dimensions of what is a carry-on? Because sometimes that varies airline to airline, once we select the airline. We do,
We're probably going to go, I've been doing a lot of looking at sites, and United and American have the most common, the most frequent flights, probably American, and they don't actually put a weight limit, just a size limit on your carry-on and your personal item, so you can get a lot in those. Yes? Pardon? No? No. We're going to be staying in a hotel. If we're not in a hotel, we'll be, the other thing they have a number of in Antigua is hostels, because they get people from all over the world that come to Antigua to learn Spanish. So you'll see Europeans and Australians and various groups coming to Antigua to learn the language. We're trying to see if we can find a youth hostel that would be able to have us book the whole place. If we can't book the whole place, I don't want some place where we're going to get some odd tourist from Germany coming through who, you know, we don't know for nothing. So, but if we don't stay in a hostel, we'll be staying in a hotel. Randy, anything else? Okay. You ready? Lord, we just thank you for this opportunity, and we ask you, Lord, to be with us as we prepare. We just ask you to prepare both our hearts, our minds, and our bodies for this trip, Lord. Be with us and strengthen us for your work in your holy name. Amen.